Well, this movie was underwhelming. Hey everyone, welcome to the review. Here's my review for the movie Passengers. Yes, Passengers stars Jennifer Lawrence, Chris Pratt, Michael Sheen, and Laurence Fishburne, and this movie is directed by Morten Tyldum. This director has directed movies like Headhunters and The Imitation Game. Yes, talk about a step down. Yes, the story of Passengers is about this guy and this girl, and they're alone together on a spaceship because basically they were part of this trip that was supposed to last 120 years, but they were awoken early, and basically they can't go back to sleep with all the other passengers, so basically they have to live the rest of their lives on the ship together with a robot played by Michael Sheen. But something is about to happen, and all the passengers are at risk. It's up to this man and this girl, played by Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, to save the passengers and possibly risk their lives to save these passengers and get them safely to the planet. Yes, that's basically the story of this movie. It's also this science fiction romance movie, and yeah, from the trailers alone, this movie seemed pretty interesting because I like science fiction movies. I like different science fiction movies. I like Jennifer Lawrence, Chris Pratt, Michael Sheen, Laurence Fishburne. I love the whole cast. I love Morten Tyldum. I think he's a very great director. I love Headhunters and Imitation Game. Great films. So I was really looking forward to this movie. Like, what could go wrong? It's a science fiction film. It's my favorite genre. I love Chris Pratt. I love this entire cast. I love this director. What could go wrong? Well, apparently a lot. This movie, Passengers, is so underwhelming, so dull, so predictable, and just not a good movie. This movie is pretty darn bad. This movie just doesn't work. The entire third act is the only time when the movie actually gets entertaining, but you know exactly how this movie is gonna end. And this movie tries to be melodramatic, and it tries to put this emotion on you, but you have zero investment and zero emotion when it comes to this movie. You're not invested with the story or characters when you're watching it. Well, at least I wasn't personally. I just had no investment with the story or these characters. I just could not give a rat's ass about anything that was happening in this movie. And that is due to bad acting and bad direction and bad writing. The idea is good, but the writing is just not executed properly. The dialogue isn't really good. The characters aren't fleshed out very well. And again, the chemistry is really lacking. That is due to the performances, and that is also due to the bad direction. The movie isn't structuralized properly either. This movie could have been so good, so interesting. There's a great movie in here. Just the movie was done horribly. Like, I really did not like this movie. I was not enjoying myself while I was watching this movie, and yeah, this movie was an utter disappointment. One of the biggest disappointments of the month, because I really held this movie on a huge standard, because I thought maybe it would be an Oscar contender, who knows, but this movie was a giant disappointment, and this movie it wasn't a good movie. Jennifer Lawrence in this movie, yes, she's a great actress. I love Jennifer Lawrence, but she's been slacking this year. She was mediocre in X-Men Apocalypse, and she was really wooden in this movie. She was very bland, very uninteresting. I felt like she didn't even want to be in this movie. She tried, I guess, with Chris Pratt, their chemistry, but honestly, I just didn't feel it. Chris Pratt, yeah, his chemistry with Jennifer Lawrence was lacking, but at least with Chris Pratt, you're gonna get humor and charisma, because that's Chris Pratt. He's a charming bastard, and he's got a lot of charisma, and he did bring that charisma in the movie. He was definitely the best thing in this movie. That and the robot. The Michael Sheen robot was kind of cool. Like, and the effects on him look pretty awesome. So yeah, Laurence Fishburne's a little bit in this movie. He's just kind of there. The effects in this movie are nothing visually spectacular. They're very mediocre effects. They're not bad, but there's nothing amazing about the special effects in this movie. And it's a science fiction movie. You should be blown away by the visual effects in this movie, but when it comes to the effects in this movie, it's just kind of eh. The score is also the editing's a bit choppy at times, and all in all, the movie just doesn't work. It's not a good movie. Michael Sheen and Chris Pratt were the only things that were kinda getting enjoyment out of me. Like, that's it. That was the only thing that was remotely entertaining, but other than that, this movie just fails across the board. The story, the characters, the writing, it just doesn't work. I could care less. When the movie ended, I was glad to walk out of the theater because I just was not invested with this movie or the story. So yeah, I was really disappointed with the movie Passengers, so I cannot recommend this movie. I really cannot. I'm going to see Assassin's Creed in a few days, and honestly, all the bad things I've heard about this movie, basically this week is just a bad week for movies, apparently, because Sing was a disappointment, Passengers was a disappointment, and Assassin's Creed is probably going to be a disappointment, so yeah. Very disappointing week for movies, and definitely for Passengers, because Passengers, I really wanted this movie to be good, and it just wasn't. So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give the movie Passengers a 3.9 out of 10. So yeah, please skip this one. So yeah, that was my review for the movie Passengers. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, what is your favorite Chris Pratt movie? Favorite Chris Pratt movie? I was gonna go with Her, but he's barely in that movie, so I'll go with Guardians of the Galaxy. But what is your favorite Chris Pratt movie? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.